to my channel. So today we're going to do another ranking video. We're going to be ranking all of the eyeshadow palettes I use in the month of July. Now, the last few months I've been ranking it by my most used palettes to, actually my least used palettes to my most used. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different because it just kept being the same palettes at the top and I want to switch it up a little. So we have 4 different sections here of palettes. I've got a category for meh. I've got a category for, I only kind of went into one shade, so it's hard to rank. And then a category for they just never let me down. So I really love these palettes. And then the top tier category is going to be, this surprised me. Kind of interesting. I kind of like it. So that's how I'm going to rank them. I'm also going to put up on the screen any photos that I took throughout the month using these palettes. You'll see multiple photos of the same look, potentially, because I do dip into a lot of palettes for one look sometimes. And I will also put up on the screen the actual usage for the palette when I talk about it. So if I only used it like once, you'll see a big 1. If I used it like 2 times, you'll see 2. So anyway, let's get into it. So according to my calculations, I went into 24 palettes this last month, which is a little bit less than what it was in June, but still it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm not complaining. I just think, whoa, that's quite a lot. Okay, so in the meh category, these are palettes that, you know, there wasn't anything special. Also, some of them I maybe only went into 1 or 2 shades, so they could potentially have been in the category of, well, it's hard for me to rank. But in general, I kind of feel a little meh about these palettes overall, so I just thought I would group them together. It's not to say that I don't like them, because as of now, I love all the palettes in my collection. I don't think there's one palette in my collection that I hate, other than the ones that I have decluttered. I just haven't depotted, right? So every palette that I have, I generally really enjoy and I like for various reasons. These ones I just felt the last month were a little meh. My son is going crazy. I keep having to refilm everything. I don't know if you can hear him, but anyway, I have not ordered these in any particular way, right? So the first one here is Gourmand Girls Peach Perfect. I really do like this palette. I don't love it. I think I have realized just in myself, it's just not a palette that I love. I picked it up because I love the color story. He's laughing in the background. I love the color story, but I think at the end of the day, it's just not a palette that I really love. But anyway, I do currently have it in my pan in every palette project. So I am trying to hit pan, say I was going to try to hit pan in this one or this one, but actually I've been trying to hit pan in this one. I haven't even gone into this one at all since I said that. And to be fair, it's just, I could have grouped this with the ones where I only went into one shade because I pretty much only went into this one a few times this last month. But I don't know, it's just not wowing me, this palette. I think the formula is beautiful. Maybe just the color story. But anyway, I just thought this was meh this month. Another one that I think is meh is my Retro from Natasha Denona. I really do like these shades. And there are some shades that I have really enjoyed and grow to love and everything like that. But I think as a palette overall, as much as I would love to say I really am happy that I spent all this money on this palette, I do think it's a little meh for what you get. And, you know, I can't fault the quality of it because I think it is very stunning, beautiful shades, and they're very, very, very easy to work with. So somebody like me who's not a makeup artist at all, never did any training, and I'm just like going as I go, trying to figure things out, it's very easy to use these shades and you do end up having gorgeous looks. Like, I've never had a bad look going into this palette. So why is it meh? It's just meh. I don't know. It's not like, it doesn't jump at me. And I don't know, maybe it's the color story. It could be the color story. But I bought the palette, so it's kind of, again, my fault. Another color story where, why am I buying color stories that are not jumping at me or sparking joy? But, you know, taste change as well. So anyway, I just thought that was a little bit meh. I do have a shade in my pan as eyeshadows. That's why I'm going into it. Another one that I thought was meh this last month is actually my Pan That palette for the year, the Naughty Nude from Huda Beauty. I mentioned this multiple times. I mean, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but I mentioned this multiple times that the quality in this is just not very good. So every time I go into this Flower Power shade, I'm expecting something pretty because it used to be a very pretty shade and it just doesn't do anything. And then even so, I went into Provocative and I was like, it's not really doing much either. So it's just not as impactful as it used to be or as beautiful as it used to be. I'm still very much enjoying it. It is my Pan Nut palette, one of my Pan Nut palettes for the year. There are still some shades in here that I really, really do like Tantric is actually growing on me, and I really do like Shameless and also Irresistible. And the mattes are fine. They're a bit powdery, but they're fine. But I think in general, I have had a feeling of meh going into it because I've tried to do certain looks and I've ended up having to go into other palettes to make it look a little bit nicer because it's just not there anymore. And then the last palette that's in this category is probably the biggest meh of them all. This is the Lovers from Cosmic Beauty, and I think it's the color story. Like, I bought this loving the color story, but I think I don't like teals. I think I've just realized this, and I realized it too late. I don't like teals on my eyes at all, so like half the palette is just not something that I really am gonna want. I mean, I do like the mints. The mints are fine. And every shade I've gone into is actually fine. Like, this is not a bad palette. It's just very muted, and it's just not, I don't know, it's just not something that I've been really wanting to go into at the moment. Plus, I also have one of the shades in my Pan Nose eyeshadow, so I'm supposed to go into it. I did go into this shade recently when I did my look going into my Pan Nose eyeshadows palette, Style Bingo, and this is actually a really nice pink. But in general, it's just giving me meh feelings. So that's that. Okay, moving on, let's go into the palettes where I really haven't gone into them that much. And so it's kind of hard for me to rank them. They're not really mess because I do enjoy these palettes. It's just I can't really rank them, right? So they're just their own little category. We got the Gloss Gods New Neutrals. So this one I was going into the shade because this was rolled into my Pan in Every palette, and I finally hit that shade at the beginning of the month and haven't gone into this palette at all, other than that one, I think just once, beginning of the month. So there's not really much for me to say. I do love this palette, but it's not like I really used it this last month. So that's why it's kind of in this category where I can't rank it, but you know, I'm ranking it anyway. Another one is the Gal on Venus from Gloss Gods. So this one I did use for a little bit of a get ready with me. I'm doing a gemstone series for my channel members, and in the month of July, it was Ruby, right? So I did a red look. It was disaster. It wasn't my best look at all, but I did end up going into this palette. But again, I only kind of went into the red. And so there wasn't really much going on for this palette in terms of my overall perception and feeling of it this last month. I still want to go into it before the summer ends. So I think I will have to pull it out for this month. I have to remind myself to use this because there is no way I'm going to be wanting to use this in the wintertime. So this is the time to use it. I just think some of these shades are really, really, really special, but they're super, super warm. And if I'm not feeling warm, then it's a little bit of an issue, but it's such a fun one anyway. But yeah, I can't really rank it. I love that palette, but it's hard to rank. And then this is another one where I love this palette, but I only went into one shade, I think only once. This is in a project. This is also in my, I think it's Pan in Every palette. This is obviously from Singed Beauty. It's the Galactic Visitor. And the shade that I'm working on is this one, which of course I have not hit pan on because I'm barely going into this at the moment. I don't know, I think I need to kind of like force myself to go into these palettes a little bit more because I'm kind of neglecting them. So maybe I need to do somewhat of a Pan Those Eyeshadows Bingo style with these types of palettes too, where I only have the one shade that I'm working on. Maybe I can include that in the next one. But yeah, I can't really rank it because I think I only went into it once. And then also, same thing happened with the Artemis from Ultra Ego. I think I only went into one shade. I did pull this from my Shop My Stash, and I kind of want to go into more shades, but I ended up going into this shade again when I did that ruby look. But I want to use this a little bit more. So again, I don't really feel like I can rank it because the shades that I actually really do want to go into, I haven't gone into yet. So I do love this palette. It's just, I can't rank it. So anyway, those are all of the sort of the meh category over with, and all the palettes where I just haven't really used that much. Now bear in mind, there are some palettes coming up in the next group where I think I only used them once, but I do love these palettes, and I did feel something special going into them regardless of only going into maybe one shade one time. So the way that I've kind of judged all this is I don't know, all up in the air really. I just looked at it and be like, you belong in that pile, you belong in that one. Okay, so anyway, let's get to it. I have all of these, which are basically the palettes that I love, and they never let me down, and they're just a joy to use, and I really, really love them. So there's nothing more I can say about that. The first one is my other palette for the year, the Alter Ego Shadow Kiss. Use this all the time. I did go into it again today for my eyeshadow look, and I really, really just love this palette. It never lets me down. Even though it's getting old, it's not like the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude where the shades are letting me down. This one is not letting me down yet. So I'm very, very happy that I have decided to go into it this year, because I can see it going bad maybe in a year's time. You know, it is getting old. Like, my Alter Egos are pretty old. And out of all of them, this was the one that I had used the least, but was my favorite. So now I have all three of them that I've used quite a lot, which I'm very, very pleased about. But yeah, this one never lets me down. So anyway, moving on, we have this one from Glamshop. This is the Nugatowa. I don't know if I say that properly, but again, this is in my Pan and Every palette. And I decided to work on this shade, which I also have on today. And it's just such a gorgeous shade. I don't think I've gotten to any other shade in here, but this is just such a gorgeous palette. So I don't know, I didn't want to put it in the meh, and I didn't want to not rank it. I love it. So then we have this one where I didn't really go into it too much. Again, it was for the Ruby look. This is Lethal Cosmetics, and it's the Avatar Fire palette. So again, I was going for like a really red look, and I ended up going into this one and this one and this one. And I have to say, this is a very special gold shade. It's really, really beautiful. A good red matte too. And then this one was fun. I ended up putting it on my lips. So yeah, I don't know, I had fun with this. It has never let me down. I only used it the one day though, for the one look. So could I really judge it? I have, so I put it there. Next up, we've got another Glamshop. This is the Sorbetti palette. This one, I was debating where to put it, because I only went into it, I think, once in this month, and then I had hit pan in the shade that I needed to hit pan on, and then I didn't go into it again. So could I really rank it? But I ended up going into this shade because, again, this was my Pan and Every palette. So I love this palette. I really think it's beautiful. It's like, especially obviously the shimmers. Like, I don't go into it for the mattes. Like, I don't really care about the mattes. I tend to ignore that the mattes exist in here. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one as well. So again, I'm ranking it here because it doesn't let me down. Then we have the Serenity from Cosmic Beauty. This is actually going to be the Bingo of Shame that is coming up. So stay tuned. But yeah, I will be doing a Bingo of Shame. I'll be participating in this month, and this is the palette that was picked. And this one, I honestly thought I was going to put this in a different category. I was going to put it in the meh category, but it doesn't let me down. Like, I did end up going into this for my Pan Those Eyeshadows look, and it was so pretty, and I don't know, I just really, yeah, it was this shade, this moss shade that I thought was stunning. And to be frank, like, this is gorgeous quality. It's just, I'm getting sick of this shade, which is in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. And that's why I'm not going into this palette as much as I should be, because every other shade in here is beautiful. And that ether shade is beautiful. It's just, I'm sick of it. I thought I would hit pan in it very fast, and I still haven't. Okay, next up, we've got the Look for Rainbows from Gloss Gods. This is my Pan That palette in order, and I love this palette. I've always loved it, and I'm so happy that I'm finally getting some pans in it, and it's just a fun, all shimmer palette. Obviously, it's a companion palette, but I really, really enjoy it, and I've gone into it quite a bit, so it just never lets me down. And then we have another Lethal Cosmetics. This is the Air palette, Avatar Air. And as you know, this is my Project Level Up. So I love this. I'm never gonna not love this palette. But it's taking its time. Like, my Project Level Up, I'm gonna explain what's happened with my Project Level Up, because one of you kind ladies mentioned that I made a big mistake in my Project Level Up a few months ago, and I have never rectified it or realized what I did, but now I've seen what I've done. So yeah, the next update's going to be quite wild. But anyway, this is my level 4 at the moment, technically, but not technically, if you get my drift. But we will discuss it We will discuss it in that video. But anyway, love that palette. Then we have the Canyons, my other alter ego palette. I only have 3. This one, obviously, a lot of use on it too. This is annoying because I went into this, I did a beautiful look and I didn't take a picture. I did not take a picture. And even after I did my look, I was thinking, well, I've got to take a picture. I got to take, because we were going out to dinner. I wasn't thinking. And so I didn't take a picture. But I love this palette. It was so much fun to go into it again. Only went into it the one day, which is such a shame, but I did end up using, well, probably like 4 different shades. I can't remember what shades I went into, but I have it written down. I just don't remember in my head. But I really, really love this palette. So I'm glad that I went into it and it didn't let me down. It never lets me down. Another one that I really enjoy is this one from Killer Purr. I think this is another one. I think I also didn't take a picture of this one too. There were definitely 2 days where I did looks. And I wore this one, then the next day I wore this one because we went to dinner twice and I think I was a little frazzled. I just wasn't in the mood to take pictures. So this is the second day and again, I didn't take a picture, but I love this palette. And then my Sample Beauty Equalizer Volume 2. Let me tell you, this is such a handy little big palette to have in my collection. I go into this all the time when I feel like I can't find the shade in my collection. It has become that palette for me. It just seems to have what I need for the day that I'm doing something. I guess because there's a lot of shades in here and I do think some of these are pretty unique. What did I go into? I went into Angel. I remember going into Angel. I might have gone into another shade. I tend to always go into these whites, but I don't know if I did this last month. But yeah, really enjoy this palette. It never lets me down, even if I just go into the one shade. It's always good. So, okay, so these next palettes are palettes that I really enjoyed this last month. Regardless of how many times I used them, they just kind of brought some joy back into my life, which sounds so dramatic. But like looking at these compared to the other ones, I feel like I really enjoyed these. So we're just gonna talk about them. I'm not saying they're like my all-time favorite palettes in my collection, but just this last month, they gave me warm, fuzzy feelings. So the first one is the Glaminatrix Rich Romantic palette. I just like this. I just like it, or I love it rather. And I did end up doing a 3 looks 1 palette with this, and I posted that right at the beginning of the month. But yeah, really enjoyed that palette. And then I really enjoyed the Cosmic Beauty Muse palette, which is a palette that I've always kind of said is a little too dark for me. It's not my favorite, but the more I've used it, the more I've grown to really, really enjoy it. And I do find some of these shades very, very interesting. I think I just have to be in the mood to go into this palette. But yeah, I actually have this shade in my Pan Those eyeshadows right now. So I've gone into this at least a couple of times this month. And I went into I went into this shade just recently in that Pan Those Eyeshadows palette Bingo, and it was very pretty. So I just know, I've been really enjoying this. And whenever I kind of be like, oh, I need to use my Pan Those eyeshadows, I immediately think, well, I want to use the Muse palette. Next up is another one where I think I've only gone into it once, but I loved it. This is the color Rain from Gloss Gods, and this was rolled in to my Project Level Up. It's technically my level 5. Will it remain? We shall see. But what did I go into? I went into Drizzling the other day and I loved it. I loved it, and I'm so excited to go into this. I do have to go into quite a lot of shades and hit quite a lot of pans, but I'm ready for it. But I'm gonna go slowly because obviously I still have my level 4 that I'm working on. So right now I just wanna get my uses done, not really necessarily try to hit pan on anything. But yeah, my Project Level Up is going to be a bit wild for the next few months. You will find out for sure. But when I went into this, it was just like, oh, like, let me just show you the shade. Like this shade is gorgeous. I don't know if I can explain how delicious this shade really, truly is. It is beautiful. You can see it's blue, pink, blue. Ah, oh, it's gorgeous. And it's so like, it's pretty metallic too. Really, really just gorgeous shades. So yeah, I'm excited to go into that palette some more. And then I also went into the Let's Pop. So I did this for my Shop My Stash. This one was a new one for me. First time going into this. This is also from Gloss Gods. I have the peach one, which I didn't really enjoy, but this one I thoroughly enjoyed. I loved all the shades. Obviously, it's very monochromatic. It's not a very like interesting palette, but if you love green, you love green. And all these shades are beautiful. And I really like the look that I created with this. So I actually was kind of surprised. It did give me like warm, fuzzy feelings going into this. So I wanted to rank it here. And obviously it's brand new, so I couldn't rank it like, oh, it never lets me down, because I only used it the once. Like, where else am I going to put it? And then I went into this one a lot. So I did 5 different looks with the Dragon's Eye. This is from What's Up Beauty. And this one was a pleasure to use. There certainly were looks that I preferred over others in my 5 different looks, but it was actually kind of fun to just use this for 1 week. It was like a 1 week, 1 palette style video, where I think I will do them a little bit more. I'll try not to make them a whole hour long, although some of you did like the fact that it was an hour long. You know, I did get one comment really, this video is a little too long, which I get you, yeah, definitely. But anyway, I really enjoyed going into this palette, and actually it made me realize what I enjoy most about this palette and the shades that I like to use in it. So it was a good way to just reaffirm my feeling about a palette that I was a little bit iffy about. So I don't know, I liked it. And then I also really love my Vintage Glam. This is from Gloss Gods. Now again though, this is one where I'm only going into 1 shade, but I love this palette so much. So the fact that I'm only going into 1 shade, it doesn't really matter to me. And that shade is here. It doesn't even look like I've gone into it at all. This is currently in, I think, my Pan Those Eyeshadows. There's so many projects. I think it's in my Pan Those Eyeshadows, but I desperately want to, actually no, I went into this shade as well last week, but I really want to go into more shades because I love this palette, and they brought it back, and they're teasing about bringing back some of their older palettes. Dancing in the Sky might come back. I don't know if you saw on their Instagram, but they were teasing, they were asking everybody, which palettes do you want back? They might bring back Dancing in the Sky, because I saw a lot of people comment to bring that one back. So your wishes may come true. But anyway, this one, love this one so much. So yeah, I couldn't really rank it anywhere else. Even though I only went into like the 1 shade, I could have put it in the, oh, I can't really rank it category, but I do kind of love it. And I wish that I could go into it a little bit more. So that's it. Those are all of the palettes that I went into. Let me know if you like this different style of ranking. This is how I used to do it before I went through my uses, but obviously you saw on the screen all my uses on these palettes, so some quite a bit more than others. A lot of these I only went into once, but that's fine. That's just the nature of the game. I have too many projects going on, and I dip my hands in too many things. So anyway, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.